when he says something and maybe refers to a certain verse of the Quran, let me tell you, even the slightest error in even a vowel, a 10-year-old kid will correct him. So the Bible is also mentioned in the Quran as Injil. You know, the word Injil in Kiswahili comes from the Arabic word Injil. So the Quran, one big difference is that there's only one version of the Quran. You know, like if you go to Wargadud, if you go to Maldives, it's only one version.
So you guys don't have translations?
So when I say one version, we do have translations. When I say one version, we always learn it in Arabic. You can read the translation, and a lot of people from outside wonder, mbona mnalazimisha watoto kusoma hii kitu kwa Kiarabu? And even me, I used to wonder the same thing. You know, like, why can't we just be taught in English? In a language that we understand, you know, English or Kiswahili. But after a certain period of time, I came to understand why, as I got more familiar with the Arabic language and reading the translations, because I usually go through, you know, like the Arabic. I do have these English translations. There's a couple of different versions, and then there's Swahili translations. Now, the Swahili translations are very interesting because there was an attempt to translate the Quran in Swahili, you know, like in a text format, and there was like 2, 3, 4 attempts that failed because when they were trying to make the translations, you know, like they were being reviewed by Swahili speakers who understood Arabic, and they were like, no, we can't understood that. And it went to the nuance of, you know, one that has a translation. I'm just giving an example, maybe not exact. One that says wanyama and another one that says mifugo. You know, like when I talk to you guys, wanyama, mifugo, they sound like the same thing, but they're not, because wanyama implies it could be wild animals. And mifugo, these are domesticated animals. And then you have other nuanced issues, and every different language has very nuanced issues that cannot be translated. And as we're speaking about this, someone tried to translate sisi ni wale wale in English, or dawa ya moto ni moto in English, and capture the same meaning. So that's the complication that's there when it comes to translation. Go translate kwa comments. Translate kwa comments. That's a complication that sometimes I think, you know, like people who maybe have not had the opportunity to read some of these texts in their original language do not appreciate. Because you see, wanyama, mifugo, very simple, but could have multiple implications. The Arabic language, for example, in English, Kiswahili, we have singular, plural. In Kiswahili, we have umoja wingi. In Arabic, we have singular, we have doubles, we have plural. Yeah. You know what I mean. You don't know what I mean. You don't know what I mean.
Plural.
Yeah,
changes.
No, I was just trying to see if you guys were paying attention. I was making sure you guys were paying attention.
Sure.
But plural is strictly 3 or more.
Okay.
Now, another that I recently got to learn, and this is despite me having, you know, like progressively studying the Arabic language from as far as I remember from when I could talk. There's another one that I recently learned that is called a super plural. That means it's everything, you know, like there would be a word for the singular, the double, the plural, 3 or more, but then when it encompasses everything, like all the human beings in the world, so there's a certain special plurality for that. So there's certain small details that I think are unappreciated and get lost. However good, I'm a translator myself, and I'll tell you, ask Bandio. So many times, you know, like I have contacted him because Bandio also translates. We've contacted each other where you're translating something in English, either from English to Swahili or from Swahili to English, but you're just not capturing the meaning. And sometimes it has to end up in an explanation. So there's some words, you know, like one word in Arabic. I'll give an example. Dust. Dust is dust. Sinivumbi. But because Arabic comes from very dusty places where deserts nanini, they have very special names for dust. There's a special dust that rises up when horses are moving. It has a special name. So when you're translating and just saying dust, then it loses meaning of what they're trying to imply there. So anyway, let's not. Yeah, let's let's not get into the nooks and crevices. So now, so there's what was I getting to? So there's translations that we read, but the emphasis is on studying it in Arabic. Another question that we always get asked from the outside, and I'm glad I have an audience that I believe almost over 90% non-Muslim that are paying attention to me, and I want you just to utafakari, just take time to think about this. Memorization, still very, very important aspect of the faith, from kids. So we do have kids, and Nigeria is interesting because Nigeria, in the pecking order of countries that have the most people that have memorized the Quran, Nigeria is like number 4 or number 5. Yes, up there, it's above Saudi Arabia, all these countries that people.
And it's majority Muslim, isn't it?
No. Nigeria is 50-50.
50-50.
Nigeria is 50-50. I think give and take, they have like 18, and I could be wrong. They have like half.
The mama who was with whom I was son from Enugu.
Yeah,
was telling me that it is majority Muslim.
Okay,
maybe her side.
Okay,
maybe
Nigeria.
So
it's majority Muslim.
Yeah,
but that's what she told me.
Yeah, but then I know with the governors in Nigeria. And I could be wrong on this. I think they're half and half Muslim and Christian. There are about 36 governors. I think there might be 18 and 18. I could be wrong. Someone can Google to see. But I know out of around the last time I checked.
You're asking Bird?
The last time I checked, out of those 18 governors, there's about 5 of them who are Hafidhul Quran. Hafidhul Quran are people who've memorized the Quran. And these are governors. So that's one of the qualities they look for in those northern states, before they elect you as a governor, which is very interesting because if you're a Hafidhul Quran in a Kenyan county that's predominantly Muslim, most likely they will not vote for you, which is a very different dynamic. If you're a Hafidhul Quran, remember I just said a Hafidhul Quran is someone who's not mastered, memorized in Arabic,
the entire.
Yes, word for word. It's around 666 pages divided into 30 parts, which are called chapters. Yes, word for word. And part of the reason why that's very important, and I know it's very unusual, I say, man, why are you memorizing a book that you already have? Well, can't you just go read it? So now, when the Imam stands there and says, Qala Allahu Ta'ala, or Qala Rasul. Qala Allahu Ta'ala is, God said, or Qala Rasul is a prophet said, or the prophet said. When he says something and maybe refers to a certain verse of the Quran, let me tell you, even the slightest error in even a vowel, a 10-year-old kid will correct him. So this is a self-check and balance. Even when leading the prayers, there's certain, you can choose what parts. There's one, there's Surah Al-Fatiha, which is the mandatory part in all the 2, 3, or 4 rakats, or the 4 parts of whichever prayer you're praying, depending on which prayer you're praying. And then there's any other part of the Quran that you can choose. So if you read something and you even make a slight error, someone right there in that front queue, randomly, and just go to any mosque, and I'm going to send you guys a video of someone who did this experimentally on a crowd. Just read, try even to make an error on a vowel or a character. Immediately, you'll be corrected. So that's a self-correcting mechanism that stops on the tracks. Anyone.
So anyone is welcome to.
So it's like saying, instead of saying
that
plural, you say plural.
If you say plural. Yes.
So someone will be like, that was wrong.
Yes. Someone will right there.
So you can question authority.
In fact, if it's during the prayer, it's actually, when you look at the pillars of prayer, it's required. Because they give the Imam the benefit of the doubt that it was just an error. a mispronunciation. But because there's ma'mumas, people who are following the imam, they are required. In fact, you're told, like, if you're the one, especially if you're the one who's standing right behind the imam, because you know there's no special positions in a mosque. It is first come, first serve. Whether sijui you're a governor of what state, or sijui you're a cousin to who, there's no such thing. The way the arrangement is, there are no chairs. So it's whoever arrives first, there are no aisles. You know, it's whoever arrives first occupies, you know, like the first. So ukifika late, itabidi umeka huko nyuma. But most of the time, you know, like within that first serve, there's people, and the surahs that are being read are typically short. So majority of the people have memorized those surahs. So that's just one of a very, very big guardrail that I never got to understand on why that tradition is extremely important and it's still practiced. You know, like the Somali community, you know, like are very good. You know, they produce a lot of kids who've memorized the Quran. So, and it's normal, you know, like you have 9-year-olds who've done it.